Allow me to show you something.
Hi everyone, my name is Giselle. Sit back and relax while I take you on the roller coaster that is my life. So let's start with my dad. He was born and raised in El Amarillo, Jalisco, Mexico, the youngest of 9 siblings. He dropped out of school sophomore year of high school to help his family of 11. When he married my mom, he came to the US for the American dream, to make a family and be financially stable. He has risked his life to cross the border for his dream. He worked in construction making houses and he didn't know English, so he struggled with communication, but he taught me that with will you can achieve anything. Now my mom. My mom was born in Mountain View, California, but moved to Tochiclan, Jalisco, Mexico after 5 years of staying here. She is the oldest of 5. She didn't finish high school, but studied for 2 years and worked as a secretary. When she came to the US with my dad, she didn't know English either, because she was raised in Mexico practically her whole life. She taught me that no matter what people say, we gotta keep moving forward. Approximately 2 years later, on October 19, 2000, I was born, the first child of 4. I was born with Erb's palsy, a disability that means my nerves were hurt during labor. The doctors were in training, meaning I was the guinea pig. They yanked my arm and damaged the nerves on the left side of my neck. My arm was limp and I couldn't move it. A doctor told my parents that I would never move my arm again and to just pin my arm to my chest, that it would never move. They lied to my parents saying I was born like that, but they later found out I was born regularly. Family friends told my parents to sue the hospital, but they didn't feel the need to try to get the money out of it when the damage was already done. They were more worried about my health rather than the money. When I got home, my mom started to work with me to try and move my arm to see if I would somehow gain movement. My hand would hang in a fist and it was twisted. I started therapy when I was 1 month. I was the youngest at the time. I continued till I was 7 years old and I got 70% of movement. We got offered a surgery with a 50% success rate. If the surgery was successful, I would get 100% of movement back. If it was not, I would lose 50% of what I had, then leaving me at 20% of movement. We didn't take it. So my therapy was less frequent, and I still continued going to therapy until I turned 21. I would put myself down and feel like I was useless. I had to learn to work harder to dress myself, do my hair, and do regular things. Also to try and not take it to heart when I would get discriminated against for having my disability. And I now see it's a privilege to see things from a different perspective than others. It made me realize the importance of how parents do anything for their child when they need it the most. Okay, let's fast forward 8 years. This is 2008. During this year, I was getting ready to be the older sister for a 3rd time, but now to a baby girl. This Thanksgiving is a day that will always stick with me and my family. My mom was taken to the hospital to give birth to my sister. Everything was normal until my mom was giving birth and there were unexpected complications. My mom started losing a lot of blood, lost consciousness, and my sister had blood in her lungs due to drowning. She went into a complicated emergency surgery. It was now everything against the clock. They both had a 95% chance of not making it. So the doctor told my dad he needed to pray only a miracle would save them. They survived, but my mom was in a coma, and he was told it was a miracle. She even made it. But now, we had to wait until my mom woke up from a coma, possibly months or years. Yet, she woke up 8 hours later. Another miracle. At the same time, my dad lost his job and we lost our home. The next few months were hard. He was in charge of taking care of my mom in the hospital. I would help around the house, help my siblings, and go to school while my dad was in the hospital. When my mom got out of the hospital, I would take care of my sister while my mom would recover. This time taught me the real meaning of responsibility, because I was in charge of my siblings more than ever. I finally felt what it is to be in my parents' place. It was not easy. I also learned that the materialistic doesn't matter. The people we are close with do, because we can always work to get materialistic things back, but we can never work enough to get the people we love back once they're gone. I'd climb every mountain and swim every... Okay, the date is January 7, 2015. Everything was going good, starting off the 2nd semester of high school, freshman year. I was excited, nothing could be better. When one day, I was told that my grandpa from my mom's side passed away, Papa Chon. It was a big impact on my mom especially. She went into a major depressive time. She would spend her days sleeping and crying without eating. And she lost a tremendous amount of weight. My dad told me, and I didn't really believe it happened since it was the first death I had to go through. My dad and I were in charge of telling my younger siblings about his passing. I had to hold myself together from crying and be strong and calm so my siblings didn't freak out. I had to accept the fact that he passed away, but keep his memory alive. I'm grateful that I had the privilege to spend the most time with him compared to my younger siblings. I was very close to him and we made a lot of memories, and I had my first experiences with him while my dad was at work like a second dad. He bought me and taught me how to ride a scooter and bike. He didn't care if I had my limitations, he believed in me. He motivated me and gives me motivation to keep going. He was the biggest part of my support system. He taught me to stay strong and if I fall to always get up, both physically and emotionally. He is the reason why I'm so independent and strong now, even if I feel like I'm not sometimes. I give him the most credit with how I am so hardworking and such a perfectionist when it comes to my work now, since he would playfully tease me for writing messy or coloring outside the lines. He was and continues to be the one who keeps me in check and on the path to my goals.
The brightest colors fill my head, a million dreams are keeping me awake.
Now, looking back at the events that have happened in my life, I have realized how much it has affected me. It has affected me in the way where I don't show my emotions and I have a wall up, and I try to appear that nothing affects me. At the same time, I don't feel the need to let people know what I'm going through or anything about my life because I feel I can do it on my own. So it makes it harder for me to open up and harder on myself and the people I am close with. But it makes sense why I do the things I do. My story and background have made me love dance and my culture to the maximum. It is an escape that helps me to stop thinking of my responsibilities and make me think of the loved ones and where I come from. And I try to be as involved as I can with my Mexican heritage because I've seen how my parents and grandparents are so part of our culture and how going to Mexico always brings some happiness. Also, I've seen how being Mexican helped my parents work hard to prove que si se puede. It also gives me motivation to move forward and not be a statistic to how we are viewed as a whole. So I've learned to love dancing, folklorico, and enjoy Mexico's music, food, people, and everything about it. I'm gonna keep working hard until I achieve my goal of becoming the physical therapist I want to be. I'm gonna keep working on trying to transfer as soon as possible and keep my eyes on all the goals I have in mind. The main thing I have learned is to never let obstacles get in the way, and downs are bound to happen, but I always have to get through them no matter what. It made me strong and more focused in what I want to achieve. On the other hand, it made me care about people and be more helpful with others because I know times can be rough. So I try to offer that shoulder to cry on or some sort of support to people so they never feel alone. It has given me the leadership skills that I once thought I would never have. If I could go back in time, I don't think I would change a thing because it has really shaped me into the person I am now and the person I will become in the future. Thank you so much for listening to my story.
For the world we're gonna make. However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share